Hey, everybody. Welcome to this week's Fateless podcast episode. And joining me from the Fateless team, going to be Sham, Dan, and Chloe making first appearance here on the YouTube side of things. And we're going to be talking social media strategy and some of the stuff involved with interacting with the community, building platforms, and all that type of stuff. So, Dan, I'll let you kind of take over and kick it off however you'd like.
Yeah, sweet. I mean, it's been a long time since I think I've been on one of these videos as well. Been pretty busy, I guess, behind the scenes. But somebody who joined the team just before Christmas, wasn't it? Uh, was Chloe, who's obviously come on board to become a key member of our team, especially with social media and things like that. And obviously, is somebody who I work very closely with behind the scenes. So yeah, Chloe, do you want to maybe introduce yourself and kind of what you do around here, I guess?
No pressure. Um,
We only do pressure around here.
Before Christmas, Dan, I joined in July.
Was that actually that long ago?
It was July, yeah.
Well, hey, to be fair to Dan, that is true.
That is before Christmas.
It
It
is
is
before
before
Christmas,
Christmas, Chloe.
yeah.
I honestly thought it was like, I don't know, I was thinking like October or something like that was in my head, but
It came up on my LinkedIn. It was
Been a
like
minute.
7 months ago. I was like, what? Yeah, I suppose I run all of the social media side of things for Fateless. That includes all of the memes you see, all of the Meet the Team posts you see, getting the links to the YouTube videos out on the socials as well, and then all the cool reels and things. That's down
hang
to
on.
me.
So you've been here since the midway through last year, and this is the first time that you've been on a podcast. How have you been dodging it?
Effectively.
It kept
What's going
coming
on
up
there?
in meetings. Someone kept saying, "Oh, Chloe's not been on the podcast," and then someone was like, "Oh, I have this really cool person." I was like, "Great."
Oh, you're like, oh no,
You give to them.
that's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's not like you're camera shy because you've got your own YouTube channel as well, and obviously you've got a background in creating viral content, which I think would be cool to share. I mean, for instance, your most viral video, Chloe, how many views has it got on it?
Do you know what? I haven't looked in a while, but the last time I spoke about it, it was on 15 million views. So
15 million
just
views.
one or two.
Jesus. Was this like cats snuggling with puppies?
yeah,
like, what
on a
was this?
skateboard,
Right.
playing poker. No, I used to work for a company that I did their sort of in-house UGC content. So I'm just making ads and fun things for those, and it went pretty mental over there.
Super
But
cool.
yeah, I've always been on camera. Like I used to make YouTube videos in, I want to say 2012 when PewDiePie started making it big, and I used to
Nice.
like copy his videos doing Slender Man walkthroughs
Oh
and
no.
all sorts. And then the channel that I have now, I've actually had for a very long time, and that used to be a makeup channel, and now it's my gaming channel. So
Okay.
yeah, I've dipped my toes in here and there.
That's a shift. Is it the same audience? Is it similar audiences, I guess, then? Because you got cozy.
Yeah, you know, makeup
Not
and
really.
gaming goes perfectly together,
Okay,
right?
well,
Sham?
hold on. I don't know anything about that side because you've got, it's a different definitely a different genre than what we're building.
Yeah, I mean, the audience is so old on there, and I only had like 100 subs.
That's not a nice way to talk about them.
I know.
They're
They're
so
probably all
old.
my school friends. It was that long ago. But I've gained like triple what I had on there now, so it is a whole new audience, and yeah. But yeah, different genre completely from like what Fateless is doing.
That's awesome.
Do you have you said you do like gaming content. Do you have a favorite genre or favorite games you're kind of into right now or anything?
My favorite game I'm into at the moment is Marvel Rivals to an unhealthy amount. Like I'll finish like an 8-hour workday and then go do an 8-hour stint on Marvel
Wow.
Rivals,
Well,
which is bad.
I heard, we had this issue with your fingers. Maybe you want to tell everybody about what happened with that. And then I heard, well, anyway, tell the story. And then I heard that it was a connected story to Marvel Rivals. Is that true, or is this just people
Don't
messing with me?
out me like that on the podcast.
I'm sorry. This is what we do here. Okay, we ask the hard questions.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I broke my fingers 2-3 days after Christmas last year. Walking my dog. They got caught in his harness and wrapped around, and lots of spinning, and my fingers literally were bent and broken all over the place. Still not great. Still not fully healed. and we're quite far away from Christmas, and that's my fault because I think I rebroke them. I had to go back to A&E because I was playing Marvel Rivals.
Smashing the buttons? Like, what was happening? You were like,
I think I
"Get
got
that
trigger
guy."
happy, and I was still strapped up, so I was like, there's just too much happening. And then I looked at my hand after a round, and I was like, oh, that looks like it did about 6 weeks ago.
It's like a
So
Marvel
yeah,
Rivals like commercial. Like
Bent
you
your
should
finger.
send that to them. Be like, I literally broke my hands again playing your game because I loved it so much.
yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, so
Well,
you're
and
the rare exception where it's actually true. You know, usually when my DPS is doing terrible in Rivals, and they're like, "Oh, sorry guys, my hand is hurt, you know, and my hand's broken." And I never believe them, but with you, it's actually true.
you're like,
Yeah.
Yeah, very
Proof.
nice.
I'll just send X-rays every time. I'll be like, that.
Yeah, post
It's
the
like-
X-rays, post the proof. Well, Dan, did you have a certain direction you wanted to go in terms of enlightening people on kind of our plans around managing
Yeah.
launch and beta and social media and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so I think one of the, I guess, key topics that we were going to talk about today is, especially for Fateless and what we're doing differently from sort of other companies, I guess, within the space is this community first approach. And I guess a good direction to kind of start this off in is, it must have been about a month ago, Simon and I did a talk at Pocket Gamer in London, where we had where we effectively had a panel, and there was people from the gaming industry. These were all other game developers and things like that, asking questions to us about the importance of engaging with a community and building a community first, rather than kind of focusing on building a game and then building a community or hoping that you can actually attract a community to come play your game afterwards. And I guess that's one of the key factors or key parts that Chloe engages with on a daily basis for us, is like kind of creating interactions and stuff to really foster that community. So I guess for you guys, and one of the things that's probably interesting for us to dive into is kind of how you engage with people on different platforms, and the way that you reach audiences. Obviously, we have this podcast. This is something that we put out on a weekly basis. We also have Simon Leaks, which tends to go out on a weekly kind of update as to things that we've got going out in the game. But then there's also very specific content that we're putting out on platforms like Instagram. We have Shorts, which Chloe does an amazing job of, playing with new tools like AI and things like that to create like engaging shorts, which work specifically on individual types of platforms. And then obviously we've got our, I guess, more slightly gated community, which is our amazing Patreons who, we have a community of people there who actually, pay a small subscription, which goes towards helping us support, the social media and things like that. So, I guess across the board, and perhaps we'll go through one person at a time. What social media, I guess, would you say that you engage with outside of work, the most? And what type of content is it that you look for, and what kind of keeps you engaged with that? So, Sham, like when you're not dealing with on a work basis, what social medias is it that you're engaging with?
if I'm not connecting with people on LinkedIn, which
Yeah.
which by the way,
Well,
good
I
time.
think
Good
LinkedIn
time.
is a great example, because I think Simon and you keep pushing me towards using LinkedIn more, and it's something which I push away from. But I guess that's a great example. LinkedIn, like how are you engaging with that?
Well, I actually, it's so funny because like I feel like LinkedIn kind of feels like what, well, parts of it do. What Facebook was kind of supposed to be in some ways. It's like people you actually know, you're actually connected with. In this case, it's for business, right? It's like, okay, we're in the same industry. You're talking about, for me, a lot of it's gaming and product and about the industry itself, investment. So I'll always be looking to kind of thought leaders, seeing what they're talking about, what they think is the trends are, where things are going, or maybe they'll say something that's funny that we've noticed about things that we're noticing in the industry. And I think that's, so it's like work and it's not work, but a lot of it really is focused on figuring out like how what the trends are, where things are moving for the industry as you know at the very highest level. I mean, but I would say the most time I spend is on YouTube, to be honest. Like you know, outside of work, it's just, you know, watching videos, people playing. I don't know what my deal is. Right, recently I've been watching a lot of people playing League. Tryndamere. I don't know why. You just
Do
go
you
on
play
these.
League or
What's that?
do you
Not
play League?
really not really that much. That's the thing. Like what like way back I played League, and then I played some Wild Rift, and I always liked playing Trend, and I was, you know, I wouldn't say good. I was reasonable at it, right? But then I don't know, sometimes you just get like a person that you're really connected with. And so maybe to kind of talk about why I think that's happening, and why I think that that's going to happen to more and more people, is that because discovery for games is so hard right now. Like there's just so much. Like I mean, I consider myself like a scholar. I try to think about these things and try to find out everything that's coming in for gaming, that's coming in. I still don't know like 10% of the games that are coming out, right? Or 90% of the games that are coming out, rather. But I do have people that I trust and I listen to, and I watch, and that's where I get a lot of my information, and it's where I get a lot of, you know, I spend my time, my free time. So that's how I engage with it. But I don't know. I'll kick it over to Chloe, I guess. Let's go to Chloe.
God. Well, I'm on social media all day, every day.
Yeah. But outside of work,
Really
outside
hard
of
to
work. So
keep
you talk about that
Yeah,
as well.
this is specifically if you're not logged into the work accounts. Where do you spend your time?
TikTok. Shamefully.
Oh, okay.
Shamefully. And there was a part of me that panicked when it was going to get banned in the US, because a lot of the creators I follow are
Wow,
US
you were part of the
follow-
okay.
creators. Yeah. So yeah, I am guilty of doom scrolling on TikTok till all hours in the morning. But then I would also say I also do the same on YouTube Shorts. I just like short form content
You like the
in
short
general.
form. Okay.
Yeah, I just find it easier to digest. And then if that leads me to watching a longer form video, then so be it. But if I can just scroll and then I'm like, oh, cool, baking. I like this. I'm going to watch this for 30 seconds. And
But
then,
does that happen often? So like, let's say you're watching a short form video and it's just like something funny, and it's just like, you know, 10 seconds, 5 seconds, right? Do you often or almost never go off and I'm going to head to YouTube or somewhere else where TikTok will take you off the platform? More long
TikTok,
form.
not really. They've really limited people going off platform. They don't
Yeah.
allow you to say things like
'Cause they know
website or
why, yeah.
Instagram. Yeah, you literally cannot say those things. You say like picture app or like, I don't know what they say for YouTube, but people come up with like different names for them. But YouTube Shorts, you link the main video, and then I quite often hit on that and
You'd be
go.
like, all right.
So yeah.
Yeah, interesting. It's one of those ones that I personally have. I don't even have an account. I literally don't even have an account. And every time someone links me to something, I go into the browser and it's like, don't you want to sign up for an account? I'm like, no, I don't. Like one.
So
I mean,
somebody linked it.
I don't have any issue with TikTok. I know myself, and I feel like I would do the same thing. I would just be in the.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I've spoken to a lot of people, including my partner, who refuses to get TikTok, but then I watch him consume TikTok content
Do the
on
same
other
thing.
apps, on Reddit, on YouTube, on Instagram. It's all TikTok content.
You're like, just accept it, accept it, and be, you know. Okay, so
Yeah.
you're all about TikTok, and you're watching what kinds of videos or what kind of stuff,
Oh,
what kind of
God.
content?
It depends. I really like true crime.
Okay.
I really like funny gaming videos. It's one of the reasons I like with HH Gaming. We do live streams every now and then with the team, and we just have a fun time. And it's one of the reasons why I'm passionate about doing that with those guys. Just having a like close knit group of friends, but then having it captured somewhere. It's like a cool memory. But I like watching other people's versions of that. So yeah, that's
What about you, Brad?
Yeah, I was gonna say that, Brad.
Yeah, kind of similar to Sham. I end up probably 90% of my time is spent on YouTube, and then I'll open up Reddit and just click like refresh and see like what's being said in the communities that I follow. Just trying to stay in touch every day with gaming news, what's coming out, what gamers are doing, what's being said, what games are successful, what games aren't, and just kind of trying to consume as much information about the scene as I can, because I work in that space and I'm so passionate and been involved with it for so long. So yeah, I'd say 90% YouTube, 10% Reddit, just trying to kind of follow everything.
Yeah, Sham actually touched on something interesting there, actually, with what he was saying, and it kind of goes back to, I guess, the topic of conversation here is that, and something that I'd be interested, especially from you, Brad, is um, what's your general, I guess, source for finding out about new games that are hitting the market? Especially as somebody who's kind of been in this gacha space, you were one of the first ever content creators for Raid Shadow Legends. And obviously you've created content for many other games kind of in the space. But a lot of these games that are coming out, they launch without really a platform. They're without an audience ready for it. So where are you discovering and finding out about these games coming to market?
Yeah, typically on Reddit, I follow a lot of like niche, super passionate communities, and you'll hear something about it. Oh, this new game's coming out. Definitely check it out. Or some of the bigger, gaming, YouTube news, live stream type channels. I follow all of them, and I try to see if they're talking about anything worth checking out. So Sham can attest that I'm always trying like these random bullet hell games,
Oh, yeah.
like literally anything that comes out.
So
I play
many.
it. I play it for 5 hours and I'm trying to kind of see what I can learn. Like what are the cool mechanics they have? What are the new things they're trying? What is resonating with players and what is flopping? And I'm trying to constantly soak up that knowledge. So I would say Reddit threads where things are being discussed or popular gaming content creators that I've grown to trust over the years.
But more indie or so like because I do something similar, I would say, but like it's usually like in the like top 100. Just try this, like, let me just try this game. Why is, Monopoly Go so popular? Why is, this and that, top 100? It sounds from what I'm seeing, you're mostly like hidden Steam and you're going like, oh, that guy, that's like a demo, right? Or demo plus, or, you know what I mean? Like what's your preference?
Yeah. The Steam Top 100 is a good place to look. Also, I look at the Steam charts, and I really love like the gaming analytics. I follow certain creators that really dive into the gaming analytics and talk about that stuff. And I was just talking with one recently, trying to line them up for the podcast. Actually, someone that analyzes that stuff like for their main content. So I really love to nerd out over the analytics and the spreadsheets and the data and like why does this game still have 100,000 concurrent players and it's 10 years old? Like Rust. Like what makes Rust so successful? Why does it connect with people for 15 years so well? And so I really love to just kind of like dive in and study that stuff and just kind of just like you said, the top 100 charts on the App Store and the top on Reddit and the top on Steam and just kind of just gather that information every day.
And Chloe, you for HH Gaming, you were doing like a weekly roundup of like gaming news and things like that. What's your main source of kind of picking up the information from those sort of platforms, I guess?
I subscribe to Game Rant, Games Radar, things like that are like handled by, I think, like hundreds of people do articles on there a day, especially on Game Rant. So they'll talk about the new and the old in gaming, but they're great sources for upcoming games, new games that have just come out. Really, really on the ball for just taking you through a new game almost immediately as soon as they come out. Just really interesting to be on those platforms. Yeah.
Sweet. I mean, I personally, I have a bit of an interesting way of finding games, which I guess ties into the main social media platform that I consume as well, which is Twitch. So literally, I find new games by whatever's popping off on Twitch or whoever I'm watching on Twitch is playing. And yeah, I quite often, if I'm interested in, I want to play something new, I will literally click browse on Twitch and see what games are in the top, like, most streamed games right now. So even if I look on my other screen right now, we've got things like Monster Hunter Wilds, which I'm sure loads of us have tried over the past week. But,
Downloaded, but I still haven't played it.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. I haven't played this game yet.
Oh, dude, you should check it out. It's really good. But for instance, there's another game here which has just caught my eye, which is called Split Faction. I don't know if anyone's seen that. It's made by the people who made It Takes Two, which is a great game. It's probably the best co-op game I think I've ever played with somebody. It will end friendships, but also bring friendships together at the same time.
Overcooked.
Well, Overcooked is literally just an end to whoever you're playing with. If you decide to play Overcooked with someone, you just must be ready for that breakup to happen, because
when we first moved in together, we were like, oh, we're gonna have this amazing gaming setup. In fact, we have consoles from years and years and years of collecting, and we were going to do a really huge gaming thing together with all our consoles. And then we discovered that we don't like gaming together. So we've tried things like Overcooked, and like we tried this penguin one called like Bread and Fred, and he can't stand the way I game. I can't stand the way he
Overcooked
games.
is such a great way to understand like the dynamics of any group, right? Because there's always going to be the chef is gonna if there's too many cooks in the kitchen, it's gonna be a big problem, right? But there's usually the director, there's the chef. My favorite time playing Overcooked, I was just like at a gaming conference. I think it was like an indie gaming conference, and it was I think it was me and Dirk, but then two other random people, right? And somehow it worked perfectly. Like I feel like we should have gotten their information because I know that our friendship would be, you know what I mean? Like it's even if you're going to be good, partners and good friends, like there's something special about Overcooked that you have to like.
Someone should make like a dating version of Overcooked, where you test out your dating compatibility.
Just get dropped into lobbies.
There it is. We've
Yeah.
got a. I mean, a game idea. That's a great game idea, actually. It's seriously.
Yeah,
The more I think about it.
Fateless
2026, guys.
Yeah, in like 2026, we'll be dropping the dating game. It's gonna be great.
Not overlooked.
You heard it here
Overcooked.
first.
We'll think about it. Yeah, we'll think about it.
Ragewood's already making a video.
Well, they have all those AI like sim games right now that like obviously people are very. There's a lot of loneliness out there, I guess we'll put it that way.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, like this would be way cooler in my mind, where it's actually connecting, potentially, hopefully, maybe not in some cases, but potentially connecting people and finding out like, hey, you guys would actually probably get along since you seem to like to be the boss and you don't mind being bossed around. Hey, this is good. This would be great.
I feel like this
As
is a
an
different kind of
example.
app that you're working
Oh,
on
I'm
here.
just saying.
Hold on a second.
Well, no. But in all seriousness, because that's the whole concept of opposites attract type of deal. You know what I mean? That people, as long as you guys as long as people can communicate well, there's just going to be there is going to be a dynamic in a relationship, and that I think that I'm not saying that that's the only dynamic that would work, but I'm saying that a game could actually be a really interesting way to test that dynamic. I'm kind of into this now. I'm brewing this up.
Getting
Sham's
dropped in
adding
a
it to the
gaming
pitch
lobby.
deck, and
I know. Hold
I
on,
want
guys.
a
I
percentage.
gotta do something. I'll talk to you guys later.
It is a great way. Yeah, getting dropped in a gaming lobby, and you'd find out a lot about somebody, how they interact in voice chat, and if they're calm under pressure, and if they're a rage quitter. You would learn a lot.
Yeah, 100%, man. I'm telling you.
dodge a bullet with that one. If they rage out, it's just like wasn't
When
worth it
gaming
anyway.
used to be like such a fringe thing, now it's like I think it's, I don't know, 90-some% of I'm talking about the next generation of gamers. 97% of them play games. Like everyone, it's like it is culture now. Gaming is culture.
Well, the generation coming up now, they have literally grown up on games like Roblox and Minecraft, and things like that, and it's so connected. I mean, a great example is like when I was a teenager, like MMOs were like basically MUDs, so people played text-based MUDs, and then obviously we have kind of adapted into like the more graphically focused MMOs and things like that. But it was still very niche to kind of be involved in those kind of environments. Whereas now, if a game doesn't have online multiplayer, it's basically that is the niche. And like the core games are all about this community experience. And I think you hit it perfectly there, Sham, where you said it's like it's human nature to want to be a part of something and connect with each other. And then I guess in a way is something that I kind of wanted to lead on to with the whole discussion here was that just with the four of us here, the way that we engage and the way that we kind of spend our time and the platforms that we use are so different. It's why it's so important that game companies kind of have this broad reach where, you're active on Reddit, you're active on every type of social media platform. Something, people in Chloe's bracket, they'll be consuming short form content. So they'll be on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Reels, Instagram, things like that. Then there's people like me who like to watch live streams. So you need to have live streamers and content creators who are engaging with your your products. Then you've got people like Brad who are more into like the more analytical side of things, where they want people to be talking about it on Reddit and posting about it on platforms like X and stuff like that. And it's why you kind of have to have like a social media specialist in house just to deal with the sheer volume of content that you have to put out on a daily basis. Because I guess a key example of this, Chloe, how many touch points would you say that we have every single day across all of our social media platforms, Discord and things like that, just at Fateless, not even touching HH Gaming? How many bits of content do you think we're putting out per day?
How many pieces of content? I couldn't tell you. Some days, I don't know. I really couldn't tell you.
If you think about it, so we've probably got what, 4 or 5 posts going out on things like Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, X, things like that. Then we've got a few times a week, we've got our YouTube videos going out. And then on top of that, we've also, I mean, if you touch Discord, then that's just
Discord
hundreds,
that doesn't count.
Yeah. But it is another area, right? Because
it does
this
count,
is
but
the other thing is, when we speak to people within the industry, so many of them haven't put the effort into actually launch a Discord before they actually build their game. So they're waiting for the game to come out before they've even got a Discord for it. So where are the people who are interested and have heard about their game going to go and create these communities and create this friendship group who are ready to experience it together? Is why we've been, I guess, so fortunate. We've got over 25,000 people in our Discord right now who are all buzzing to get in their hands. Yeah, Karen?
I'll hit you with some data.
Yeah, let's do it.
Minus Discord, Patreon, probably forgetting some other platforms as well. This week, 78 posts.
God.
Yeah. And technically
so
we're only on the 5th day of the week, so there's
Well, no, this is 7 days. But
right,
that's
okay,
7 days. So that will include Twitter replies. But from a fun analytical side on social media, that counts because that's really good for your engagement rate. And in fact, some of our highest performers are our Twitter replies. It's a really good place to be. So being in your comments, being in your replies and things like that is majorly important to grow.
A lot of viewers, I know I would be curious, Chloe, what is, because a lot of people don't like see the inner workings of something like this and haven't kind of been in that industry. What is like a 9 to 5 work day for like for your job? Like, do you kind of wake up and try to notice viral trends and then think about, okay, what can I grab from a podcast episode to like SEO on this viral trend? Is there like, what is kind of the normal daily workflow?
Yeah, so I suppose some of it is on the fly, like picking up on things that we've done in other content, so like the podcast and stuff like that, or what's come out of the game this week, what Simon's decided to leak, things like that. The other half of it is just content pillars that I managed to put together at the end of last year once I sort of grown to know the company a little bit more. And we have 4 content pillars that I don't know whether I revealed them. Now everyone will know my secret formula. But one of them is community. One of them is the team. There's some others, and I stick to hitting those 4 content pillars each week. I need to make sure I've got a post for at least one for each of those, and then the other stuff gets chucked in. But in terms of like taking something I've seen online, so I don't like specify a part of my day that I'm going to go, all right, I'm going to scroll TikTok now and see what's going viral. On a Friday, I tend to read my marketing emails from companies that are telling me what's new and trending. There's people on LinkedIn that I talk to or interact with their content where they do wrap-ups of the week. We also do a wrap-up of the week over at MinMaxed, which is a whole other thing. But there's social media never turns off, so I never turn off. So even if I'm scrolling and I'm looking at my true crime, if the next video is a game dev video, I'm like, save, send that to Dan. We're going to do this video. This is my idea. Here we go. And that could be at midnight. It could be at 2 a.m. Yeah.
Well, to that end. So speaking of that, it is it's a good thing and it's a bad thing about social media. Like, do you ever kind of like feel the creep of like a little bit of burnout, or are you able to kind of like separate like, okay, this is my time, this is my work time, this is my other time.
I used to struggle with feeling like I didn't have enough content up here, but now we have such a good team of people who are willing to say, here's my cool idea, and I just have to make it happen. Like, that's so much nicer sometimes just to have someone have done the thought process and I just have to put it all together.
Just execute, yeah.
Yeah. The thing I do struggle with is not really turning off, but is having social media for myself. So whilst I say I do make YouTube videos, and I used to do social media I used to UGC as a fun thing, and it's finding the time to do that, finding the time to be consistent with that, to put in as much effort with that to continue growth for myself
Yeah.
is so difficult. So I find it funny when I'm telling people, oh yeah, I'm a social media manager, and they look at my socials and they're like, you've got 300 followers, mate. And I'm
Really?
like,
Yeah.
yeah, don't look at my socials. Look at this one.
Also, followers tends to be a bit of a vanity number these days.
Yeah, totally.
I would rather have 300 engaged followers who actually watch and enjoy your content than 300,000 and nobody cares what you're putting out.
Not even just that, impressions. I'd rather our stuff be seen on people's feeds than followers. I don't even follow some of my favorite creators. I just like them popping up because the algorithm has found out that I've watched their videos over and over again, and they keep popping up, and that's fine. I don't have to subscribe to them on YouTube or whatever.
There's a running joke on TikTok, right? The quickest way to stop seeing someone's content is to follow them. Because the way that TikTok's algorithm works is it almost like gets you to the point. It's like, okay, you're interested in this person, you followed them. You don't need to see any
Try
more of them.
someone
But we're going to
else.
find someone else that's
Yeah.
like them for you.
Yep.
Interesting. That's funny. So yeah, talk to me about the different algos that you have to kind of deal with. I mean, each of them is very different, I'm sure.
Very different. And it's not just the algorithm that you have to consider, it's the different audiences as well. So we have our demographic, and our demographic is pretty much the same across platforms. That's fine. But your audience within that demographic is then different. So the people who use Facebook and are likely to see our posts first on Facebook are very different to the people that are likely to see it first on Twitter. So someone who's on Twitter will often use a pseudonym or a completely different name, and they can converse with you. Whereas a person on Facebook's probably got their nan on Facebook and doesn't want to openly have a conversation in the comments and prove that they're just following this developer and let everyone know this is what they're up to in their free time. So you might find people want to have more conversations on Twitter, or vice versa. You might find someone doesn't mind doing that on Facebook. And then the algorithm on top of that is you've got to please the people on the other side of Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and all of these things. And it's forever changing. Instagram used to be what I would say was my main platform, but for this company, it's not really our main platform. Our main platform is Facebook. So it's been a lot of a learning curve because Facebook's algorithm, though it doesn't change often, it's very complex, and it's very complex depending on your audience. Yeah.
It's funny because the amount of people that I've spoken to, especially within the industry, when I tell them that even over at HH Gaming, our number one converting and engaging platform is Facebook, they're like, what do you mean? Facebook's dead, isn't it? It's like, nah. The problem is our audience is of an age where they grew up on Facebook, and they're still there. They're still on Facebook. They're still opening. They're using Messenger as their like main way of communicating with people, and they're logging into Facebook on a daily basis. So they're engaging in groups. Fateless and HH Gaming both have tens of thousands of followers who actively engage and reply to everything that we put out on Facebook. Is very, very powerful, that platform.
What I find fun as well is when I came into this job, I was like, oh, I have all these ideas for this development company, and we're going to make all these reels, this short film content that I enjoy and I know how to make. But we don't need that. We need statuses that are going to have call to actions and conversations that people are going to have on platforms like Facebook. They want the written stuff. They want to have conversations, whereas a reel is just a piece of entertainment for someone. So it's very different from what I expected. Still enjoyable, and it's a nice learning curve. But yeah, very different.
And do you picture that will shift as we get closer or actually get to launch? Like, I feel like, because we will want different things. We'll still want, obviously, engagement. We'll still want community. We'll still want conversation. We'll still want all those things, of course. But we'll also want people to come in and play the game. We'll want them to engage with a new part of that. So do you think things will change? Like, maybe will be more reels? There will be more. What do you think? Picture. I won't put the words in your mouth.
It's something I have envisioned, but like coming into the job and things changing, things can always change. So I might get my hands on the finished product and go, no, that idea doesn't work. But yeah, I imagine that the content will change. We've talked a few times, me and Dan, about what will happen in the future, but on a whole nother marketing level, once we have the product and we have a game, there comes me working hand in hand with paid content. So I do organic, and then there's paid, and they're two different things. And once we have a product, paid will do so much, and I will keep the audience happy. Right now we have an audience that we're trying to keep clinging on until they can get the beta, and won't I get the beta, or how well is this game doing? Once the game's out, then it's a whole new conversation. It's well, what's coming next, or is this game good? Like, a completely different tone. And whether we keep the same audience or whether that audience completely changes as well, it's a whole unknown. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah, interesting. I don't. Well, I guess that's another interesting question. Do you feel, based on like what you're kind of starting to see of like what we're putting out? Like, I mean, one of the differentiators for us is kind of like this different perspective in the game, and actually Honkai Star Rail. I think if you look at their demographics as an example, now they're anime, but it is their demographics are much younger, like not much younger, but they are much younger. I don't know what I guess this is not like your expert opinion, and it's more just like, what do you think? Like, do you feel like it's gonna resonate more with some of the younger audience, or you yeah.
I think going off of competitor analysis, so I don't like calling them competitors, and I don't do it in my reports
Buddies.
either. But going
Comparables, how
off
about that?
comparables, yeah, going off those, I think their demographic is probably very similar to what we have now. In fact, going off HH Gaming, Simon's demographic is our demographic. They're very similar. I can imagine though that this game doesn't really. I think everyone has an interest in myths, gods, legends, and things like that. Even young people now. I know when I was younger, I was interested in those things. So hopefully that sort of lore and story aspect to it invites that different demographic, but we'll see. We could even also, and maybe this is something for me to think about, is maybe I do some direct content that might reach those people on those platforms and bring in that demographic. So
Just to see, yeah,
yeah.
because it's funny. Like, I had Athena has, so my 8-year-old has a bunch of friends, and she's always showing them like some of the stuff that we're doing, and they're always like, "That's so cool! When can I play this game?" And I'm like, "I mean, you're 8. You can play when it's out."
Yeah.
But I wasn't expecting you to be the audience, and maybe, who knows? Like, yeah, that's.
I think maybe some of the cutscenes and cinematics might be a bit gritty for
Yeah. Well,
That's
dude,
the
I don't
other
know.
thing. Yeah.
These
You
kids,
Gotta
man, these
consider
kids
those
Yeah.
I
I
scantily
think
cladded women.
our target audience, I guess, and you can't build a game for everyone, because effectively, and Sham, you say this all the time, you can't build a game for everyone because you end up building a game for no one, and we know that we have this core audience right now, especially with Godforge, and I think it's our strong point, especially with the 5 years of history and data that we've gathered from this audience through Raid Shadow Legends, HH Gaming, and kind of the affiliation that we've got like across those boards, that we kind of already know how to at least engage our current audience. When it comes to growth, I'm still a strong believer that short form content is the easiest way to grow and reach new faces. It's probably not the best way to actually capture them long term, but at least you can very easily kind of broaden your horizons and get in front of new people. And I think you do have to experiment with the type of content that you're putting out to actually get that engagement, because to be able to get traction, especially with short form content, is you need a more, like, kind of, as Chloe said, like more entertainment based rather than just a captive content. Because if somebody's never heard of you, they've never heard of your project, never heard of your game, don't know who you are, why do they have any reason to be invested in you? Why do they have any reason to actually be interested? So you kind of want to put out either like entertainment based content, be it funny things. I know Raid do it perfectly. There is a reason that Death Knight has his own Twitter account, and he's like this meme character. Because he wouldn't necessarily, or that story wouldn't necessarily, although it entertains the current audience, what they're able to do is then leverage that to, get out there and reach people who wouldn't necessarily have engaged with the hardcore, like, hero battler, epic battles and things like that. But they can put this funny stuff out, this skeleton who's talking to his like mouse that lives inside him, and yeah, the content that they can put out of that is great. But then that gives us the ability to be like, okay, cool, let's make some fun stuff that, even if you're not interested in this game, you may watch it, you may laugh, and you may share it, and stuff like that. So I think it is, you do have to be aware of your core audience and your demographic that you're trying to hit, but to branch outside of that, you do need to be a bit experimental and just kind of, a bit like what Brad said before, look at what's trending and see, is there something popping off in terms of like a dance trend, and we can animate some of our characters to be, doing the latest
This
dance
is no
trend.
brainer.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Mm-hmm.
So, Chloe's
We'll-
ready to
we'll
get
have
that
Chloe in the
Herc-
motion
or
capture
Hercules,
and-
or what's
Yeah,
his name?
it's fine.
Izanami.
Yeah.
Oh my
The other one.
God.
You guys.
I want to see one of our guys in a mocap suit acting out the dance, so that we can just rig it up and just have one of our characters
Oh
dancing.
God.
Yes, please. When?
Yeah. The thing is, they have to volunteer for this. I think HR might have a field day if we start
No,
enforcing
Brandon would be up for this in 2
Yeah.
seconds. One of our animators who has a mocap suit. So if we're like, this needs to happen,
Yeah.
we want to
We
have a
need it, man.
Hercules Izanami dance off. Close.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's
Picture
really
of
hot.
Guys.
Yeah.
You just
I love how
picture it
Dan
up.
always comes in with the
Yeah.
the legal disclaimer, like we have a running
Somebody's
joke.
got to,
Gonna
man.
call up
Somebody's got to.
HR. Like,
We have a running
Yeah.
joke, like in the design team, Sham will be like, Brad, now if you don't get that done, you owe me 10 push-ups. And then Dan will come in, Brad, I just want you to know you're not legally obligated to do 10.
oh, I would never say
Yeah, but
that.
that's because literally Sham does this. Anyone new who joins the team, it's like in their first meeting, like they're nervous. They've just started a new job, and Sham's like, "Well, you better get this done, or you're going to be doing pull-ups." And you can see the look on their face. It's like, dude, like, just so that you are aware, he cannot make you do pull-ups. like,
That's why Dan's always in the first meetings. He's like,
Yeah.
you won't come to every stand up, but he's like, oh, there's a new guy there. All right, Sham's gonna do this thing again.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me just make sure they know
It's,
this is not
it's
serious.
like company issue. You get a hoodie and a pull-up bar. Like,
Yeah, there you
send it
go.
to your house.
Witness the fitness. Okay, we are here to build a great game and to grow
Yeah.
to make sure that people can have
Hashtag
long.
fatless, right?
That's right. You get out, do some climbing. I mean, the other thing that we're doing, so it's not just funny short form content, or even long form content. It's also kind of awesome stuff, right? So you've got that method shirt on. We probably should
Hey.
talk a little bit about that before we peace out, because like this is such a cool
absolutely.
sponsorship we're
Yeah,
doing.
so I mean, again, it stems back to engaging with other people who reach a wider audience than yours, and that's something that we knew from day one, is that we have we use this as a reference quite a lot, that we know that we've got this snowball of players at the top of the hill, but that audience is only going to get us so far in terms of our goals of kind of reaching the extent of what we want to do with Fateless. And it's not just with Godforge, because I think that's something that kind of gets confused or lost because Godforge is our first game, but Fateless is a studio, and we intend to build Fateless into being a household game studio. We want to create many titles. We want to work on lots of projects. We don't want to be a one-hit wonder. But we have this audience that has kind of been established within the hero RPG collector space. But a lot of people in the hero RPG collector space tend to be people who grew up playing MMOs and they play games like World of Warcraft. Me personally, and I think probably everyone in this room. In fact, Brad, I think you
Except
haven't
for
played World
Brad.
of Warcraft, have you?
Hell, man.
We
Um,
what?
No,
No, but you have played
I-
other
Shame.
MMOs,
We
right?
talked about
was-
this is we have to do the force shame.
I was
Yeah,
so
like,
all in
dang,
on StarCraft that nothing else mattered to me.
Yeah.
So that
I
yeah.
get it.
That's
But
fair.
Blizzard,
Wow.
man, Blizzard
Yeah.
MMO. I don't know how you missed that.
So, almost everyone within our community, even though they're playing these games, they grew up playing MMOs, be it World of Warcraft, Lord of the Rings Online, RuneScape, something like that, and being able to connect to the audience that is still engaged in those communities was really important to us. And I grew up playing World of Warcraft. I've got very close connections with Method, who we are sponsoring, and it's the third time that we've sponsored them in an event which is called the Race to World First. Basically, the top guilds in the world, they compete when new content drops in World of Warcraft to be the first people in the world to kill a boss. So there'll be a new dungeon that comes out. There'll be 8 bosses, and it's on the highest difficulty. And some of these bosses take upwards of 500 attempts to even kill the things. Takes literally days and days and days on end. These guys stream 16 hours a day for up to 3 weeks to be the first ones in the world to kill the final boss. And our support, I guess, of their community gives us exposure to these players who are into games like World of Warcraft, but especially within the race, a lot of people who grew up playing WoW, but don't necessarily have the time to play it anymore, go back and still watch the race. And that is our core audience. It's people who have kind of grown up playing these MMOs, these RPG games, but they don't, they're older now, they've got jobs, they've got kids, they've got commitments, but they still want that kind of connection to an RPG-based game. They want a connection to a community, go through the whole feeling of building out a character and, killing bosses and things like that, but from either the sofa or, PC or Mac as well, but with less of a time commitment that these MMOs take, and more of an ability, though. Obviously games like Shadow Legends, there's been the creep with the time required for it, and you can easily play 16 hours a day in those games, but you don't have to be locked in and engaged playing them for 16 hours a day. And that's why it's always been really important to us with, like the sponsorship of the Method team is Method are very much doing or have the community aspect that we I guess that we're proud to have within our team as well. They're very much like this story of a guild who's come together and has become this big brand and audience, and they're kind of taking the step to compete against the best players in the world, and kind of being a part of that is awesome. So
you should show off we were super happy and it is a really cool sponsorship opportunity, and they're going to be playing kind of like this teaser trailer that some of you guys might have seen.
They are.
Check it out.
yeah.
But I mean, show the back of your shirt. I'll grab mine real quick.
This was
So
Um,
cool.
yeah, so this was
A
actually
little bit
after
of a
the
thank
last
you
race.
for these guys
Yeah.
from these guys.
Oh,
So nice that they
wow.
did that.
But
I
they're
should've worn it. I
always
didn't know. I didn't know we were gonna wear the. I would have worn it
Yeah.
next time.
but they're always so supportive of us, and we've got this incredible relationship with them. In fact, when we were out in Vegas, they came and had a hangout with us at Gary's place as well, and they're so supportive of what we're doing. And I guess the partnership that we've got with them is like 2 years now that we've been supporting each other. But the communities tie in so nicely together. I think it's just kind of been a perfect match between Fateless and Method. So hopefully we'll see them get the world first.
See
If
it.
not,
Let's go. Support Method. You go watch them on Twitch, and Method, you better win. I'm just saying.
Well, by the time this comes out, it's
Yeah, they
possible
might
that
have
the race
won.
is over. I
They
was
might have
saying
won.
that, like,
Yeah.
That's right.
yeah, I was saying that before we started. It's like I'm wearing the Method top, but I might actually need to swap it to like a Limit or an Echo top. Don't tell them that, but
Ooh.
Wow.
but no, my connection.
Fairweather fan. Jeez.
Well, my connection with Method goes back a long time, and it's funny because Scott, who's the CEO of Method, I joke with him because he's somebody who we know very well now, but back in 2011 or something like that, I was just a fanboy watching his streams. And now, we're friends. I've got other friends who are actually a part of the Method team as well. So I have like a little bit of a fanboy moment with the Method guys, but as well as that, they're also very good friends of mine now. So, yeah.
Well, so again, definitely check that out. Go to Twitch. They're streaming all the time. I guess you might have wait. So when this comes out, maybe don't go to Twitch. Maybe that's presumably it will probably be over. It's possible.
When does this come out? Wednesday next week?
It should be on a Thursday.
Thursday. So it may well still be
It
running.
may still be going. Okay. Well, either way,
Twitch.tv/Method. Easy to find.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there'll be YouTube videos and things like that with the results. And I think actually it could be quite fun for us, and they'd definitely be up for it to get some of the Method guys on the podcast to come talk to us about the race.
that'd be a blast.
I'll wear the shirt this time. If we're gonna do that, we'll wear the shirt.
Let's do that. I'm certain they'd be up for it because I think it ties into a bit of what we were talking about there, is especially with them. Although we do sponsor them and we give them prizes for them to be able to give away during their events and stuff like that. It definitely feels more like a partnership than a sponsorship. They're as supportive of us as we are of them. So check them out.
Yeah, very nice. Well, hey, this has been a blast. And Chloe, your first time being here on the channel, we do have to ask you, within the universe of our game, we put you on the spot here. We need a name of your favorite god, myth, legend, hero
that hasn't been announced and that you don't know about.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it going to be?
Hasn't been announced.
Yes, that has not been announced. You can also answer the question of which ones that we have announced. That's a fun question too.
Yeah, if you have a favorite one in our, that's okay. But either or, one that
The
has.
thing is, I don't know who has or hasn't been announced.
Well, that's okay. Either way is
find it
fine.
really
'Cause we can play it off. We neither confirm nor deny that they'll be in the game, so that's okay.
I feel like they have been announced. Can I say two? Because they go together.
Yeah, go ahead. It's okay.
I think they have been announced. Orpheus and
I can tell you if they
Eurydice.
have or not, but what's that?
Orpheus and Eurydice.
And Eurydice.
Well, let me see here.
Have they been cut?
They have both been announced. They have
Nice.
both been leaked by
Okay.
Simon.
Okay.
Okay.
I was like, Dan's here. You're gonna get in trouble.
No, I've got a list.
I
I've
don't
got a
know,
list.
like-
So Simon has shown Eurydice for sure, like her model. I don't know if he's shown Orpheus, but he's been mentioned.
At least in plan.
Yeah.
It would be weird if we did Eurydice and didn't do Orpheus.
That'd be kind of rude, actually. Yeah, agreed.
Okay, great.
I was gonna say because I haven't done this, and I think I
yeah,
can
you
leak
did.
one,
You haven't done this?
potentially.
Okay.
No. There's one that I particularly like at the moment in terms of the model, and it's specifically because of her shield. And
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure that she has been announced because I know there was a load of speculation when Simon leaked about
I don't know.
one of
check
these
quick, Brad.
cutscenes, and that's Athena.
So if it hasn't been announced, it's been announced now. That's exciting.
Yeah,
her
Great
shield
glitch.
looks freaking awesome.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I'll be honest. Like for me personally, there's other very cool like character models in the game, but particularly for that weapon, that shield, it's
Athena's been shown on video.
okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Do you want the most attractive ones and the ones that I have most files of on my computer? 'Cause
Yeah,
We were
let's
talking
get a
about
list.
this
Let's get
earlier,
a top. Can we get a calendar? When are we doing this calendar?
Hercules is a Nagi.
Yeah, we've talked about it a couple times. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm just saying, if you guys want a calendar, put it in the comments.
Yeah.
Let us
Yeah.
know.
We
can
definitely
make this
need to do
happen.
that. We definitely need to do that.
That would
we
be
definitely
cool.
do actually need to do it. I think
I think
the
we got
characters are
enough
cool
artwork to like kind of put something incredible together
Oh,
for
yeah.
a calendar.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I work on the
Chloe's
merch
like, I
store,
got
so I
Yeah.
No
Very nice. Well, hey, this has been awesome. Chloe, Dan, and Sham, thanks for joining me. And then Chloe also, or Dan as well. Do you want to let people know? We can put links down below, places to find you on YouTube and kind of like the content that they can get from you. Chloe, go ahead.
Me, I'm Cozy with Chloe with an S on pretty much all platforms. I do gaming videos, horror gaming, and at the moment Marvel Rivals. So.
That's how you know that she's for sure from Britain.
Oh, with the S.
With the S, not the.
Well, I also heard you call something mental earlier, and so that's a giveaway for me. That's when I know.
Okay.
Oh, really? Oh,
It
wow.
wasn't the
okay.
accent. It wasn't the accent. It was the.
Yeah, and then Dan, I know you do like some blog type stuff on YouTube as well, a lot, right?
Yeah, so I mean, I'd love to say that I have time in the day to put content out myself. I do have a YouTube channel, but it's not gaming related at all. It's very much marketing, digital marketing and stuff like that. But it's literally Dan Phixion on all socials. So yeah, easy enough to find me. I've got a email list as well, which I put out, which again is more industry based. So it's more for content creators and things like that, where I put out a weekly email. Kind of about trends and stuff going on in the industry of content creation.
Go check it out.
Yeah.
It's all good stuff.
Yeah, I actually subscribed to that one. I read your recent one about talking about how to link to your story specifically and what makes your content about you and all that. So yeah, that's definitely a good read. I definitely consume that to try and learn
Awesome,
more. But,
thank you.
But yeah, we hope you enjoyed this Fateless podcast episode. We'll have all the links you need down below. Chloe, Dan's content, Discord, all that good stuff. We would love to hear your feedback on everything social media and Godforge related. So we will see you soon in the next Fateless podcast episode. Cheers.